Alright. So we're back live. And we'll start bumper music and then you guys just take it over.
Go for it. Oh man, I love this track, man. It gets me going.
The music is sick.
We're gonna go on for 3 minutes, so I'll lower it. And then you guys do the thing,
Okay, like now.
right? Why not, right?
All right, I guess we'll start. Welcome everybody to our 3rd episode of the Super Turbo Tutorial Show. I am El Trouble, and Sarah gave us over there broadcasting, but I assure you he's here. And we got the man in black himself. We got Muffin Man sitting right here, if you guys don't know.
Unintentionally in black, of course. How's it going?
That's Soto, by the way, if you don't know.
Oh, of course, Frankie Snow. What's up?
Yeah, so I mean, if you guys don't know, Muffin Man's been a big part of the community for many years. He knows a lot about Super Turbo, so he's here to help me out here and help me teach you guys a bit of Super Turbo fundamentals. So today we're going to cover the art of fire, right? And that's basically what we're going to show you guys the basics of how to use a fireball in your game. I'll cover the first thing. The primary thing you have to know about fireballs is that compared to regular moves, they have a bit more startup and longer recovery. So basically, like, there's a bit of a wind up when you do a fireball, right, Daryl?
Of course.
Yeah.
The startup makes a big difference because, you know, some characters have a fireball that's really fast startup, some have slow ones, and that determines whether or not it's an extension of their footsie game, basically.
Yeah, exactly. So for example, Ryu, he has a very good fireball, but he has high recovery. His body actually extends way past, his foot range. If you guys suck, you see his hands and his feet kind of poke out in front of him. But he can throw fireballs like a madman. Whereas DJ here, he might throw some fireballs at me. His come out very quickly as well, but he recovers nearly instant. Like, his recovery is almost non-existent, so it's very hard to punish a recovery. Whereas for Ryu here, if Daryl can do a jump roundhouse.
That's what you want.
Sorry, we go by the cuff here. Unfortunately, my fireball game is too good, so Daryl's having trouble.
Really.
He's having trouble here.
Yeah, you have to be able to throw fireballs. But
There you go. So in that example, I threw a bad fireball, and he punished it by jumping and kicking me right in the face.
which is also applicable to pretty much any character. I mean, that's basically how you get around them.
Yeah, pretty much.
The idea is to punish a fireball any way you can and basically figure out the patterns that people use to throw them.
Exactly.
They're delicious, I'm sorry.
So, at the start of the round, typically, like in a match like Ryu versus DJ, a lot of it will be you and I kind of throwing fireballs at each other, fighting for positioning on the screen.
Yep.
Trying to feel each other out, get used to our patterns and whatnot.
See, the way things work is like certain characters, like Ryu for instance, he uses fireballs as a way of expanding his footsies. Like,
Yes.
Here, I'll give you an example. So, we'll give you an example.
Do you want me to Ryu?
Yeah, Ryu.
Okay, that works.
So, basically, you have Ryu's normals, which cover a good amount of ground on their own, and they're pretty high priority. They allow you to punish whiffs. They allow you to, circumvent trip guard and all that good stuff. So, like right here, we have Ryu's normal game, which Eugene is messing up. Calm down, buddy.
Sorry. Okay.
But basically, you see it, all these normals, they have a limited range. But when you include a fireball, all of a sudden his ability to poke becomes, Dhalsim-like. But it's just a more risky poke. So, whereas you can use low forward to, punish whiffs and, basically set up a footsie game at a certain range, a fireball gives you additional range. So now your opponent's forced to react differently to what you're doing. So it's just basically a way of extending your character's arsenal and basically making them more powerful and giving them a stronger footsie game. But
Exactly.
not all characters use fireballs in this way. Ryu's one of those characters that uses it like a footsie tool.
Well, typically, like, if you're a charged character, you really can't use it in the footsie game so much because, of course, you're limited to having to charge your motion before you do it. Whereas Ryu, he can dance back and forth and kind of bait out moves or whatnot, and throw a fireball right in your face.
Exactly.
But yeah, Muffin Man brings out a good point. Like, typically for normal attacks, Ryu's sweeps and crouch 4 are his biggest pokes. But once you throw a fireball in the mix, you can bait out and poke and just throw a fireball right in your face, and that's a big part of Street Fighter.
And it also makes a big difference that he has the option of throwing a fast one or a slightly slower one that knocks down, which is the red fireball. So it basically gives him more opportunities to do setups and just basically overwhelm his opponent if that's what he chooses to do, or at least create space. It can make a big difference in all the different playstyles.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to try Sagat?
My Sagat?
Well, we'll just go over the basic idea of using fireballs.
I mean, since you're already down, can you use Sagat? Because your Sagat's way better than mine.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's not even go there.
Shots fired? Miller Time says my Sagat's terrible? She wasn't saying that a second ago.
So, Sagat, he's a good example of a character that can rely on fireballs for most of his game. They're so fast, they cover a huge space in a short amount of time. They actually are pretty damaging. They can be low slow, low fast, high slow, high fast. So you have a lot of options, and with these type of options with this type of fireball, you end up being able to mix up your opponent quite a bit.
Yeah, and Sagat, of course, known for his extremely dominating fireball game.
Exactly.
Not used so much in footsie, but primarily in zoning. Like that's his bread and butter right there.
Yeah, I mean, Sagat's normals are actually relatively strong, and they cover a good amount of space, but at the same time, his fireball gives him control of space outside of that, to the point where he's kind of like Dalsim in a sense. So if you can intelligently use his normals and use his fireballs to the advantage that they provide, then you can end up becoming, very dominant with this character. But there's also a risk to that. His fireballs extend his arms out, so using certain techniques, you can end up, getting punished quite a bit. And it's very dangerous to just throw fireballs willy-nilly without really paying attention to how you're using them. So while in one sense it may be an abusable part of this game, it's also very risky.
No, I completely agree, but the important thing to know is that while every character, some characters have a fireball, they all use it in very different ways. Like the way you zone with Ryu is completely different from the way you do with Sagat, because Sagat is so reliant on mixing up low tiger shots, high tiger shots, alternating between using his normals to have very good reach. Whereas Ryu here has a little bit more flexibility with the way he can use his fireballs.
Oh my god. It's amazing.
Give me a second. Alright, so I'll cover a different form of fireball use, so I'll switch it over to Guile, which has a completely different way to use a fireball game.
His isn't really a footsie fireball. It's more of a... I don't know what to call it.
I call it I call him like a control character. Like he sort of throws a sonic boom and he kind of watches his opponent. Whatever his opponent does, Guile should be ready for and just react to it.
Yeah, I mean, Guile's defensive because in some sense, because he uses his fireball to keep other people with fireballs at bay. He doesn't use it so much to extend his footsie game as much to keep people away from him because of the recovery time.
But not only that, but that also allows Giles to control his positioning. So when he's on the advantage, you can walk in and attack. When he's losing the advantage, you can back off and throw a Sonic Boom again.
Right.
So I see it like he uses his Sonic Boom like as an obstacle to the other opponent. That's kind of a challenge. And whatever you do... See, right now, I'm not doing footsies at all. I'm just throwing Sonic Booms, and whatever Cammy does, I do my best to counter it.
See, this is the more very textbook style of gameplay. Guile basically forces you to get through a set of obstacles before you can actually deal damage.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's a powerful tool, but at the same time, certain characters take advantage of this weakness he has because, one, he's a charge character, and two, he relies on moves without invincibility to do damage to his opponent. So where Ryu has a shuriken, he has a somersault, but it requires a down charge. And if you get knocked down, you basically are not going to be able to use that effectively against a good player, at least. So creating the obstacle course with the sonic booms is almost integral to winning with Guile, because once you get in on him, it becomes a different type of fight, where he has to use footsies as opposed to creating obstacles for you.
Yeah, so if you guys notice right there, once Cammy got me pinned in the corner and she knocked me down, I started taking a lot of damage very, very quickly. So that's an example of Guile failing to keep Cammy under control with the sonic booms.
Now, the other thing about Guile is he can also be played offensively, but he wouldn't rely on sonic booms for that because his normals are actually pretty good. He has a pretty good cross-up. His combos are hit confirmable, which is very, very rare in this game. So it gives you the idea that you don't require a fireball game necessarily to win with the character, but it can't hurt your gameplay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the important thing is to always keep it fresh. You can't always just zone, you can't always just attack them. You gotta kind of switch it up depending on how the matchup is going. Generally, Guile loses matchups in which he can't really use the sonic boom. For example, when you play like Guile versus Sagat, Sagat usually wins that for the only reason that Guile can't throw a sonic boom and threaten Sagat because he just matches with a fireball. So Guile has to attack, and in that situation, Sagat can absolutely control Guile and make him come to him,
Right.
and Guile can take serious damage.
And like if Guile has to fight Ryu, you'll see a lot more fireballs and sonic booms because Guile has to keep Ryu's fireball game at bay. Otherwise, he'll get overwhelmed because of basically a long-range footsie tool that he can't deal with. So you'll see in a lot of high-level games, the Ryu player will win once he gets Guile in the corner or knocked down, basically, and the sonic booms won't matter at that point. But at the mid-range and full-screen game, you'll see sonic booms all day. But the speed of Ryu's sonic boom, of Ryu's fireball, and the efficiency of it kind of overwhelms his ability to keep up, and also doesn't help that he's a charge character. So while Ryu's playing footsies essentially, Guile's kind of trying to figure out a way to deal damage without taking any in the process.
And you stunned me? So yeah, if you guys are paying attention to the Ryu Guile match, it's pretty interesting in that Muffin Man's correct, and I'm trying to use my sonic boom to kind of keep Ryu at bay here. But not only that, I'm fighting for positioning. This matchup is very positioning intensive. I really hate you. So I'm alternating between using the sonic boom, kind of dancing in and out of his attack range here, try to do damage. Dang it.
So yeah, as you can see, Ryu capitalizes on a knockdown. Fireballs are, at a certain range, just like any footsies tool.
Right.
So generally, when you have a character that uses a fireball, you want to see what use it has in terms of footsies first. If you find that character can't really use it as a poking tool, as a way to kind of deal damage to your opponent at certain ranges and kind of safely, keep him on the defensive, then you have to find another use for it. Like, for example, DJ, his is almost like a reversal just because his fireball comes out very quickly. So you can use it to push people back in combos or block strings. It has a number of uses, but not really so much as a footsie tool. It's kind of like Guile's, but at the same time, it's not as effective a tool because of the recovery time. So you'll see that DJ relies a bit more on his normals, but he uses the fireball to open up ways for him to get in. Because he fireballs, Ryu tries to poke against it to stop him, and then Ryu makes a mistake like jumping in or doing something, or throwing a fireball that's punishable. So this is an example of a different way that fireballs can be used. DJ having a unique way as well as Guile, and Sagat kind of being in between.
Yeah, so from this, you saw that there's no fireball game that's exactly the same as one another. So, you know, the way Ryu uses the fireball is different from the way Ken uses it. It's different from the way Guile, DJ, Sagat, Dalton use it. Yes, Chun-Li too, man. Chun-Li too. She has a very good fireball game as well. But, I mean, the key thing to know is that each character has different kind of properties on their fireball. So for example, against like a Shoto, like a Ryu or Ken, some characters can even just walk up and do this kind of move. Because if Ryu throws a fireball at this range, I'll stuff it clean. Because DJ's Crowd Strong has very good, very good priority. Which is one way to kind of counter the fireball game. As you see right there, he tried to do a fireball. I punish him for it clean. But yeah, as you see, DJ doesn't really use his fireball, not really as an offensive tool, but kind of defensively to set up Ryu for certain setups that DJ can do. So that DJ can get up close, kind of do crouch strong, standing roundhouse to yeah, keep Ryu in check, so to speak, so he can't use the fireball game as much anymore, because Ryu has a very good zoning game with his fireball.
Exactly. Now, if you think about it, if you can group up Ryu, Ken, and Sagat as sort of footsie-based tools, Guile and DJ as sort of defensive, you know, open up tools, you know, as obstacles. And then you have Chun-Li and Dalsim, which are kind of meter building / just kind of a safe pokes, which is along the lines of Ryu and Ken and Sagat, but it's more of a less abusable. You know, you can't really expect to play a footsie game with like Chun-Li's fireball, because one, it has a lot of recovery. It's not a very fast fireball. It's just, and it doesn't go full screen, which, yeah, obvious problem there. But it also gives her a quick way to build meter from full screen without putting herself in too much danger. And it just kind of tries, you know, it's a bit of an obstacle, but it's more to just see what your opponent's gonna do and give them a pattern to try and figure out, so you can punish it.
Not only that, but it actually helps her fight the zoning game somewhat, since instead of getting pushed into the corner, she can kind of fight back while building meter and maintain good positioning. And all the while, of course, she's building super, and if you guys have played Super Turbo before, Chun-Li Super, one of the best in the business, man. So you definitely don't want her building super. Oh, I can't. How do you control this character?
Oh my god.
Surprise! Yes,
up?
No Time has a question.
What's the point of using fireballs if they do so little damage?
What's the point of using them?
Yeah.
Didn't we just...
Well, because if you keep getting hit by fireballs, you're gonna get tired of it. You don't want to take damage unnecessarily, so people try to get around them when they feel that they're held back by it, you know? So the idea is to make it a tool that puts people in a situation where they're uncomfortable, and they try to get around it and then lose more life because of it. Yes, and Fern Tree 4 hits is the ideal amount for touch of death. But it's not easy to perform.
Quick side question there.
Yes.
But yeah, the fireball isn't really meant to be like a super damaging tool to win matches. It's more about, again, relating to episode 1, using the fireball to control space. You know, put your character at an advantage where to land damage. Not really as a tool to do damage. What's up?
You know, Dalsim.
That's my character, man.
I was saying pick him.
You want me to pick
Calm down.
Dalsim?
Yeah.
You don't want my Dalsim, man. My Dalsim's too good.
Whatever. So yeah.
You're gonna do Geef against me?
No way. I was just
I'm about
moving
to say.
I'm gonna do Claw.
Oh, so dirty. So, I mean, Dalsim's unique in that his fireball, it's very good. He has good recovery, but he has insane startup, man. You see him breathe way deep before he throws that fireball now. So the way he uses fireball, not really for zoning, just
Yeah, he's one of those characters that can, like, where Guile creates an obstacle course where he's on the defense, Dalsim creates one where he's on the offense. It has a lot of recovery time and it's kind of easily punishable, but it also gives him just a very good advantage in terms of keeping an opponent where he wants.
You're right, and that was the biggest thing when trying to get used to when I was playing or learning Dalsim, is learning to use his fireball to, in a way to similar to Guile, where you want to challenge the other person and make him do a reaction. But me being a Ryu player, I use my fireball in the footsie game. I can't do that with Dalton, man.
Right.
I just fail miserably. I take damage all the time.
But against certain characters, that is really powerful. Like DJ, for instance, he loses because of the ability to use that fireball in such a way that prevents him from doing very much in certain areas of the screen.
Yeah, sure, okay. So,
I'm sorry, were you know, dumbfounded by the beatdown you just received?
yo, we're trying to do an ST show, and you want to talk smack?
I'm just saying, you know, that was really quick, and I wanted to, you know, have some excitement in the match, but you just took all that away.
All right. Real talk, guys. Before we got here, we played a long ST session.
Long SC session of 5 games.
Right before we left, I made Daryl hold that shit with a perfect in
Whatever.
Dolls and Vega. Can you imagine how hard it is getting a perfect against Vega? Look at this shit. I didn't even touch B1. Sorry. I gotta calm down.
FYI, Tanya was standing in front of the screen when he got that perfect.
All right. Anyways, that should just about cover it for fireballs, I do believe.
Yeah, you want to do some matches of fireballs? Oh, well, we can talk about Ken's fireball.
Oh, let's go for it. Although his bears more similarities, it kind of, I don't know, Ken has like a hybrid style between like Ryu and Guile.
Yeah, it's like a defensive tool in some cases, but it also serves in offense. It's an all-around good fireball.
Yeah, it's just like a...
People say his fireball is weaker, which in terms of fighting Ryu, yes it is, but as a tool for zoning and for what Ken does, you know, it's actually really powerful because the slow fireball gives him a bunch of time to uppercut. And the other 2 fireballs, while not as fast as Ryu's, can catch people off guard because, you know, they expect the slow ass, this fireball's taking forever to get here one. And then, you know, having such recovery on a slow fireball like that makes it a lot easier to just follow up with it, you know? And Ken being a mix-up character, that's really powerful. Oh, you did.
I hate you. Yeah, what?
Where's my
What?
awesome? Get out of here. Oh, that should have hit.
You are the...
What? It's not my fault you can't punish.
You know what? Back on topic. Yes. If you guys noticed early in that round, I threw a slow fireball to force Dell to do a reaction, and he did neutral jump, which I was able to punish with a sweep. So in that sense, it's similar to Guile in that I use the slow fireball as an obstacle to make him respond. So when that happens, I'm in position to punish. Yeah, get that shit out of here.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes, really.
First of all, you can't.
You're lucky
save
I
them.
can't control his character. You know what? You're lucky I can't do that. Sorry. It's hard to do this with Daryl. I want to beat his ass so bad.
Oh my god.
So that should cover. We pretty much did a quick overview of Ryu, Ken, Guile, DJ, Sagat, Dalton, and Chun. So we cover all the bases. So
I mean, basically, when you pick a fireball character, you don't want to rely on the fireball as your main tool for offense or defense. You want to be able to use all of the person's normal attacks, all of his basic moves, even command normals if he has any, he or she has any, and learn how the fireball supplements all that. Because if you rely on a fireball, it becomes very predictable. I mean, think about it. You're using one move as opposed to 10. How easy is it? How hard is it going to be to figure out a pattern when you're only using one move? You know?
exactly, you get figured out. And everyone has a pattern. I don't care what you guys say. Like everyone has a certain pattern in their fireball game. So plus, at some point, like you will get knocked down when you won't be in a position to use a fireball. So what are you gonna do then?
Exactly.
So you gotta be, in order to be a well-balanced player, you have to understand how to use the fireball in conjunction with all the other basics of Super Turbo, such as using your normal moves to control space, as we talked about in episode 1, and in episode 2, where we taught you guys how to do the 3 primary types of anti-airs. You know, that's very important to defense.
And take into consideration that while you want to use fireballs in particular situations or ranges, that doesn't stop them from being useful in awkward situations. You know, I mean, you'll see people just getting hit by a fireball because they walked up and the person did it right in their face.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not because, you know, it's you know, like actually effectively used like that. It's more so that you're not gonna use the pokes that everybody knows are workable at that range. So use the fireball as a surprise, you know? Just like that. Just keeping yourself from being predictable. El Trouble has that problem.
Excuse me.
Hey,
Sorry. He talking mad smack on me. I gotta respond. Why do I bring you out here, Daryl? I hate Canada's stupid recovery. How does the guy recover halfway when he's landing? Okay, anyway, sorry guys. Sorry guys. But yes, Daryl makes a good point actually.
you guys have any questions?
Yes, please.
Yeah, by all means, guys. This is an interactive show, so get the fuck out of here. Oh, sorry. So, if you guys have any questions, please post them up.
Stream chat are in here. El Trouble is in the cup. He's just under a different name.